Hi, it's Paul from HobbyLink International. Don't forget to check out the new site. Also, if you look down there, there's a link to subscribe to the channel. And also there's a link there to have a look at the new site as well. Today we're going to have a look at something that we sell on our shop. It's a new thing from AJM Models. This is a 1/700th HMS Royal Ulsterman. Commissioned in 1936, HMS Royal Ulsterman was a 3,250-ton passenger ship which, along with the sister ship Royal Scotsman, sailed the Glasgow-Belfast run. During the Second World War, Royal Ulsterman served as a Royal Navy Reserve troop transport, taking part in nearly all of the major Allied amphibious operations of the European War, including Dunkirk, D-Day, the liberation of the Channel Islands, just to name just but a few. Her sister ship was also equally involved. HMS Royal Ulsterman was a landing ship infantry and carried about 830 troops. HMS Royal Scotsman and HMS Royal Ulsterman were decommissioned in 1945 and returned to their owners, converted back to ferries, and went back to their previous job for another 20 years. 1967 they were sold to another company in the Mediterranean, and eventually Royal Ulsterman was sabotaged at a pier in Beirut in 1973 and sunk. Okay, so let's see what we get inside the box. Obviously this is by AJM Models, 1/700th scale, HMS Royal Ulsterman, kit number 700-023, waterline series resin kit, as you'd expect from AJM. So, sturdy corrugated cardboard box. So let's see what we get inside. First, there's the instructions, loads of bubble wrap, a couple of bags of photo etch parts. That's obviously the main hull, and then we get some PE as well. So let's start with a quick look at the instructions, but we'll go through these in more detail when we go through the steps. Layer to the parts. Note that the resin parts are identified in round oval sort of boxes. That'll come in useful. Decals, painting scheme, colours called out in life colour. Then onto the instructions, and you'll see things in square boxes and things in round boxes. Round boxes are resin, like on the front page. Square boxes means you're looking for a photo etch part. It all looks pretty straightforward, building up section at a time. I think the landing ship's hung over the sides 24/7. So lots of good things there. Masts. That's all pretty good. I'll have a close look at those in a minute. So let's have a look in here, see what we get. Okay, that's the main hull. A little bit of, oh, that's just actually bubble wrap. Hull looks good, portholes, external details, planking detail on the top there. A little bit of flash at the bottom, but nothing to worry about. A very nice casting, there's no bubbles or anything like that on it, so that's pretty neat. Let's look at here. I'll take photographs of all these parts and put them on the website. There's a link to the website underneath this, and a link to the shop as well, where you can get this. Another part of the deck, landing craft. They're quite nice. Even little funnels on them, it looks like. So that's all the landing craft, I think. They look quite nice. Over here we have this bag. lots of other small parts. Funnel, detail on top of the funnel and the side detail, part of the superstructure. Smaller parts, another big part of the superstructure. Life rafts, ship's boats, more life rafts. So some small masts and a couple of protecting pieces at the side, 2 of those. Some more superstructure parts. Oh no, looks pretty neat. And then in the photo etch, seems to be quite a lot of photo etch parts in here. I'll put photographs of all these on the website as always. The photo etch seems rather thin. Some brass there. In here we have a small decal sheet. I think there's 6 identical frets in here. My guess is, since we have 6 landing craft, each landing craft gets its own little fret. And then on the main sheet of photo etch, there's a fair few parts on there as well. I'll have a count. If you want to see how many parts there is of this, have a look on the website. I'll count them all up and put the totals on there. And that's pretty neat. Basically this will be almost identical to, we've also released the HMS Royal Scotsman in 1/700th. There is some small differences between them, I believe. If memory serves right, back here the mast is different, then there's some superstructure parts different at the back end of the ship. All in all, that looks pretty neat. Very nice resin castings. Photo etch brings the detail up to AJM's usual standards. So let's have a look at the instructions and a close-up look at some other parts. I'm not aware of anyone having done a kit of HMS Royal Ulsterman in any scale before, and the same goes for a sister ship, HMS Royal Scotsman. So AJM Models are the first people to do that, and they're pretty good actually. Inside the box we have about 109 resin parts plus a solid resin hull. There's a larger PE sheet with about 300 parts, 6 smaller PE sheets with about another 180 parts between them, decal sheet, a couple of thin brass rods, and 3 sheets of double-sided paper with 1 page for the parts layout and painting guide and 5 pages of building instructions over 63 steps. Okay, let's have a look at the instructions and a close-up look at some of the parts. So the first thing to remember on the instructions is PE parts are numbered inside a square box, resin parts are numbered inside a rounded box, which is a handy way to differentiate between the two. Page 1 is adding some more superstructure parts and adding some small parts fore and aft, basically building up the main ship. Page 2, steps 13 to 22. Again, we're adding more parts on the superstructure. We're putting winches at the forecastle, adding various small parts all over the ship from front to back. We add the derricks that the landing craft are going to be hanging off. The funnel goes on here, and adding the very topmost parts of the superstructure. And on to the next page, steps 23 to 35. Adding a few more pieces of resin, but mostly we're moving into photo etch, adding photo etch all over the place, stairways, lots of those going on, some railings, small ship's boats going in as well, but basically moving into the fine details of the build. Page 4, we steps 36 to 50, putting together anti-aircraft guns, still mostly playing with photo etch, adding more detail, life rafts, some other small parts going on the superstructure everywhere. Essentially there's a lot of photo etch in this build. Remember, it's still only a 1/700th scale kit, but we've got well over almost 500 photo etch parts in the build. And on to the last page, steps 51 to 63. adding some more life rafts, yet more photo etch in a few places. This step you also build the masts. You've got some resin masts to start with, and then use some of the thin brass rod to build the cross stays. So it should be pretty fine work. The main difference, as I said, between the Royal Ulsterman and her sister ship is at the aft end the mast is different. There's a couple of small parts back there as well. So basically, and that finishes it, and the last step still contains some more photo etch. Okay, paint and decals. Painting guide, there's 7 colours used. They're named and they're also given life colour references. If you don't use life colour, you can convert those into your preferred brand. Underneath we've got a small decal sheet, you've got a Union Jack, 2 Royal Navy ensigns, and you've got some draft marks front and back as well. You've got 5 views of the camouflage ship in colour, plenty there to get the painting right, so that should all be pretty good. So an overall conclusion. Firstly, it's the only kit of HMS Royal Ulsterman you're going to find. If you want this ship otherwise, you're going to scratch build it. Same goes for her sister ship. So AJM Models have planned carefully to fill a gap in the market. The quality of the resin is very nice. No bubbles, no problems with that. The only issues you might have is small parts, lots of photo etch, and the fact it's a resin kit and you have to pay attention to the dust. But other than that, it's a high quality resin kit, lots of detail, and should build up into a very nice kit indeed.